You feel it, don't you? A quiet exhaustion that has nothing to do with a lack of sleep. It's a weariness of the soul. It often arrives after a simple conversation, a meeting, a family gathering. You walk away, not angry, not sad, but hollowed out, as if some vital, unseen energy has been siphoned away, leaving you a little more transparent, a little more tired of the world than you were just an hour before. You might blame yourself. Perhaps you're too sensitive, too introverted, not resilient enough for the demands of social life. You might think there's a flaw in your wiring, some social battery that is smaller than everyone else's. You see others diving into these interactions with vigor, and you wonder, what is wrong with me? But what if I were to tell you that this feeling, this profound and secret drainage, is not a symptom of your weakness, but of your strength? What if this exhaustion is not a sign that you are broken, but a signal that you are beginning to awaken to the true nature of the game everyone else is playing? This sensitivity you possess is not a flaw. It is a finely tuned instrument. It is the canary in the coal mine of the human spirit, and it is telling you that the air in certain rooms is becoming unbreathable. The problem is not your capacity to generate energy, but your refusal to waste it on illusions. You see, much of what we call society is a wonderful and intricate play. It's a grand piece of theater with billions of actors, each one performing their role with tremendous conviction. There are scripts about success, about failure, about what one ought to want, and how one ought to behave. There are costumes we call professions, and masks we call personalities. And for the play to work, everyone must agree, consciously or not, to pretend that the play is reality. They must agree that the stage is the world, that their lines are their true thoughts, and that the applause at the end is the meaning of life. For a long time, you played along. You learned their lines, you wore your costume, you sought the applause. But somewhere along the way, you started to notice the backstage. You caught a glimpse of the ropes and pulleys. You heard the whispers of the stagehands. You began to realize that the grand, dramatic emotions being displayed were just a performance, and the urgent goals everyone was chasing were just props in a very, very long production. Your weariness, you see, is the natural consequence of standing in a theater and being the only one aware that it's all a show. It is the exhaustion that comes from the immense, unspoken effort of pretending you still believe in the plot. The draining, you feel, is the friction between your awakening consciousness and the deep, powerful sleep of the world around you. And this friction is generated most intensely by certain actors, the ones most deeply invested in the play. They aren't malicious. They are simply the most convincing performers, and their very presence challenges your newfound fragile clarity. Let's call them the 4 secret architects of this exhaustion. Not to label them, not to judge them, but to understand the mechanics of the dream they so fiercely protect. The first of these figures, and perhaps the most common, is the one we might call the keeper of the score. This person lives in a world of constant measurement, a reality built on ledgers and comparison. Their conversations are not an exchange of being, but an exchange of data. How much do you earn? What have you achieved? Where did you travel? How many followers do you have? Their questions are not born of curiosity, but of calculation. They are trying to place you on a vast, invisible scoreboard that exists only in the collective imagination. They are a walking, talking embodiment of the game of more. More success, more status, more possessions. To be in their presence is to feel yourself being measured, weighed, and judged against 1,000 invisible others. The drain you feel is the colossal effort your soul exerts to resist being turned into a number. Your very essence rebels against the idea that you're infinite, Immeasurable being can be quantified and ranked. It's like trying to describe a sunset with a stock market ticker. It's a fundamental category error, a violation of what is real. When they ask about your career, you feel tired because you know the real story is in the quiet moments of flow, the terrifying leaps of faith, the joy of creation, things that cannot be listed on a resume. When they talk about their new car or their bigger house, you feel a profound depletion because you are being invited to participate in a fantasy, the fantasy that happiness can be acquired and owned. Your spirit, which knows that joy is a state of being, not a state of having, grows weary of upholding this charade. You feel drained because you are forced to stand on the shore of their tiny man-made pond and pretend you cannot see the boundless ocean of existence roaring just behind you. Your exhaustion is a sacred protest. It's your soul saying, "I will not be reduced. I am not a score. I am the music itself." For what feels like 10,000 years, the wise have known this, that the race for more is a race against oneself, and you, in your weariness, are simply remembering this ancient truth. This person, the scorekeeper, isn't your enemy. They are a reminder. Their presence is a spiritual barometer, and the pressure drop you feel is a signal to return to the unquantifiable truth of your own being. The second type of person who quietly depletes your energy is the architect of the future. This individual lives in a perpetual state of not yet. Their life is a constant preparation for an event that never arrives. They will be happy when they get the promotion. They will relax when they retire in 30 years. They will find peace when the children are grown. Their entire existence is a bridge to a hypothetical golden tomorrow. A conversation with them is rarely about the here and now. It is about their plans, their worries, their strategies for a future that is always just over the horizon. They are not present in the room with you. They are in a meeting that will happen next week, or on a vacation that is 6 months away. The drain you feel is the exhausting pull of their time-traveling anxiety. You, who are beginning to understand that life is only ever this present moment, are being asked to abandon the only reality that exists and join them in their phantom future. Your body is here, the air is in your lungs, the light is in the room, but your mind is being dragged into a whirlwind of hypotheticals. It is an act of profound energetic violence against the now. You feel drained because the very foundation of your awakening is the realization that the point of the dance is to dance, not to arrive at a specific spot on the floor. The architect of the future believes the entire purpose of the music is to reach the final note. You are trying to listen to the melody, and they are humming the finale over and over again, drowning everything else out. This exhaustion is a sign of your sanity. It is your deep, orgasmic intelligence screaming that you are being starved of the only nutrient that truly matters, the present moment. You are a musician being forced to talk about ticket sales during the most beautiful passage of a symphony. You feel drained because you are using your life force to power their time machine, a machine that is fueled by the delusion that life is a problem to be solved rather than a mystery to be lived. Their presence, in a strange way, is a gift. It is a powerful, visceral reminder to come home to yourself, to feel your breath, to notice the texture of your clothes, to listen to the sounds in the room. The architect of the future, lost in their endless tomorrows, inadvertently teaches you the sacred value of today. Your weariness is the price of admission to their fantasy, and you are simply realizing you no longer wish to pay it. You are not antisocial for wanting to leave that conversation. You are pro-life in the most fundamental sense of the word. Then there is the third figure, a truly modern phenomenon, the curator of the self. This person is not a human being so much as a meticulously constructed brand. Their identity is a performance, polished and refined for an invisible audience. Their opinions are not their own. They are calculated to align with a certain tribe. Their experiences are not lived, they are harvested for content. Their emotions are not felt, they are displayed. They have a carefully managed public face, a persona that is consistent, appealing, and utterly devoid of the messy, contradictory, and authentic chaos of being a real person. To interact with them is to interact with a living advertisement for a product that doesn't exist. The exhaustion you feel in their presence is the exhaustion of talking to an echo. You offer a genuine piece of yourself, a vulnerability, a doubt, a moment of spontaneous joy, and it hits a smooth, impenetrable surface and bounces back, unchanged. There is no one home behind their eyes. There is only a director of public relations, constantly monitoring the message. You are not having a connection, you are having a transaction. You are being scanned for your utility to their curated image. Will you make them look good? Do you endorse their brand? This is why you feel so profoundly depleted. Real human connection is a reciprocal flow of energy. It is a give and take, a beautiful dance of vulnerability and acceptance. With the curator, it is a one-way street. You give, and your energy flows into the void of their performance, with nothing coming back. Your weariness is a testament to your own authenticity. It is a profound cellular-level allergy to the artificial. You, who are trying to shed your own masks, find it physically taxing to engage with someone who is building theirs ever thicker. It's like a recovering addict sitting in a bar. The environment itself is a drain on your resolve. You are not being difficult or judgmental. You are simply a real organism reacting to a synthetic environment. The curator of the self is a ghost, a hologram woven from the anxieties of social approval. And your tiredness is the simple, honest recognition that you cannot shake hands with a ghost. You cannot have a heart-to-heart with a photograph. This draining feeling is your soul's applause for its own integrity. It is celebrating the fact that you are no longer willing to trade the real for the representational, the substance for the shadow. You crave what is true, and your body, in its infinite wisdom, is telling you where it cannot be found. The space they occupy is filled with 1,000 beautiful images of life, but not a single drop of life itself. Finally, we come to the fourth and perhaps most formidable of these figures, the merchant of certainty. This is the person who has it all figured out. They have the answer, the system, the ideology, the one true way. Whether it's political, religious, or philosophical, their worldview is a closed loop, a fortress of dogma with no windows and no doors. For them, the vast, shimmering mystery of existence has been solved, codified, and turned into a set of rules. And their primary mission is to convert you, to bring you inside the safety of their fortress. A conversation with them is not a dialogue. It is a sermon, a lecture, a recruitment pitch. They do not listen to understand. They listen for the weakness in your argument, the crack in your own uncertainty where they can insert their rigid truth. The drain you feel is the immense pressure of their reality tunnel. They are trying to force your expansive, fluid, questioning consciousness into their small, brittle box of beliefs. It is a form of psychic violence. You, who are learning to embrace the beauty of "I don't know," are being confronted by the brutal arrogance of "I know everything." Your mind, which is beginning to dance with paradox and contradiction, is being told it must walk in a perfectly straight line. The effort required to maintain your own shape, to not be crushed by the weight of their certainty, is monumental. It is the exhaustion of a river being told it must flow uphill. This weariness is the hallmark of an expanding mind. It is the growing pain of a consciousness that can no longer fit into the cramped quarters of ideology. You are not weak for feeling tired. You are vast. The merchant of certainty is terrified of the open ocean of mystery you are just beginning to sail. Their fortress is built on the fear of drowning in that ocean. They are not trying to enlighten you. They are trying to rescue you from a freedom they cannot comprehend. The energy they drain from you is the energy of your own expansion meeting the unyielding wall of their contraction. It's a battle of cosmic forces played out over a cup of coffee. Your fatigue is a badge of honor. It signifies that you have chosen the terrifying, exhilarating freedom of the open sky over the suffocating safety of a cage, no matter how gilded. You have chosen the question over the answer, the journey over the destination. And the merchants of certainty will always be exhausting to those who are truly alive, for the dead are very heavy, and it takes a great deal of energy not to be buried alongside them. So you see, these four figures, the keeper of the score, the architect of the future, the curator of the self, and the merchant of certainty, are not your enemies. They are your teachers. They are messengers from the world of the dream, and the exhaustion they provoke is your wake-up call. It is a form of spiritual biofeedback. The feeling of being drained is a compass, and it is always pointing you away from illusion and back toward truth. It is pointing you away from measurement and toward essence, away from the future and toward the now, away from the performance and toward the authentic self, away from certainty and toward mystery. What then are you to do? The old response was to try harder, to build up your tolerance, to learn to play their games better, to become a better actor in their play. But the path of awakening is precisely the opposite. The liberation is not in learning how to endure the drain, but in honoring what the drain is telling you. It is permission to gently, quietly, and without fanfare, disengage. You don't need a grand confrontation. You don't need to announce your departure from the play. You simply stop showing up for rehearsal. You stop reciting the lines. You put down the props. When the keeper of the score begins to list their achievements, you can smile and listen and feel a quiet, compassionate detachment, knowing that you are no longer playing that game. You don't need to argue. You simply need to not participate in the ranking of your own soul. When the architect of the future tries to pull you into their anxious tomorrow, you can bring the conversation gently back to the now. What a beautiful day it is, you might say. Or you can simply listen, anchored in your own presence, a silent lighthouse in their storm of becoming. When the curator of the self presents their flawless performance, you can see it for what it is, a shield against fear, and offer a simple, authentic moment of your own, without any expectation that it will be received. And when the merchant of certainty tries to sell you their map of reality, you can thank them for their passion, while continuing to explore the wild, unmapped territory of your own experience. A new kind of silence will enter your life. It may feel like loneliness at first. It is the silence of no longer being a part of the noisy machinery of the collective dream. The phone may ring less. The invitations may dwindle. This is not a failure. This is the sound of you creating space. It is not the empty loneliness of isolation, but the rich solitude of integrity. In this space, your energy, which was once hemorrhaging into the defense of illusions, begins to return to you. You will feel it as a quiet warmth, a sense of peace that doesn't depend on anything external. You are no longer fighting the river. You are no longer trying to swim upstream. You have realized that you are the river, and the destination is the entire journey. So the next time you feel that familiar, soul-deep exhaustion after an interaction, do not despair. Do not blame yourself. Pause. Breathe. See it not as a flaw, but as a message from the deepest part of you. Ask yourself, what game was I just asked to play? Was I asked to be a number? Was I asked to live in a phantom future? Was I asked to applaud a performance? Was I asked to shrink my universe into a box? Your weariness is not a weakness. It is the fierce, beautiful, and undeniable evidence of your own awakening. It is the price of clarity in a world that is deeply in love with its own sleep. And it is the most reliable guide you have, leading you, step by weary step, back to the simple, silent, and inexhaustible power of your own true presence. You are not drained because you are weak. You are drained because you have finally begun to touch what is real.